I just want to say thanks, everybody, for joining us today for the Harmony Pro webinar. On the line, we've got Brett, and I'll let him make his own introduction. But we've been working with Harmony now. For Allnet's been working with Harmony for probably about a year now, and the sales have been really incredible and definitely accelerating. And we're happy to bring an Allnet exclusive webinar to you, and happy to be working with Harmony on this session. With that, I'll turn it over to Brett, and we'll get started. Thank you.
So, thank you very much, Bill. Thank you guys for having me in here. Like Bill said, my name is Brett Bjorquist. I work at Logitech in the Harmony Group and Smart Home Group as a whole. I was brought in here in December, so like I said, it's been a little while, but fairly new, but I was brought in specifically to basically grow the CI Pro Channel market. So, like I said, in my background, I've got about 15 years of professional installation. For those of you, well, most of you guys aren't on the West Coast, but any of you guys that are out there, I started out in Good Guys, doing mid-end, like I said, installs, custom installs, did training for the groups out there. Then gone on through a variety of other manufacturing companies and run my own CI business as well. So I'm CDA certified, ISF, HAA. So I've been doing it for a while. I always say, I was installing back when the first Harmony remotes and Philips Prontos were out. So for any of you guys that were out there and remember Prontos. So we'll go through a little bit about Harmony today and some of the cool products that we have. We're going to focus a little bit on the Pro versus Elite sales and kind of go through some of the differences there. We'll definitely make sure that we go into the POP. For those of you that haven't seen it yet, this is probably one of my favorite products at the moment, and it's gaining a ton of traction, so I think it'll definitely be something that you guys will want to be offering your clients. And then, like Bill said, we'll open it up to questions, anything that you guys got, throw it into the chat line, and we'll definitely go through it. So start with a brief history of Logitech and the Harmony side. So this is the first one. As sexy as it is, this is your Easy Zapper. So Easy Zapper was actually a Canadian company, founded in 1999 by two biomedical engineers. And it was basically founded on the principle that, activity-based programming in a remote that was easy and affordable for people to buy, was the way to go. So, like I said, the first Harmony remote launched in 2001. At that time, we actually launched our first online device database. What's really cool about our online database is we've got 20 guys that we always say we sit in the back in the dark so that they can play with the IR codes and IP and Bluetooth and everything else that we do. But what's really great, and I'll show you guys in a little bit on the Pro Portal, but on that off chance, what we find is that only 2% of all Harmonies that are programmed require any learning. So where they're actually learning IR codes because it's not in our database. So like I said, fairly small percentage. However, when there is something that you find that maybe, again, it's some small legacy piece or some product that happens to have IR but doesn't generally fit in the entertainment space, all you have to do, we'll give you an email address. You email them, and they will make sure that they get added in. So you may have learned it at the time because you're trying to get done with your job. But that next time that you try to have a similar product in there, most likely that product will be in the database. So like I said, we have 20 guys in there that are dedicated to it. We're super proud about how quickly we're able to get new products in there. And like I said, we'll touch on that in a little bit as well. And then obviously, like I said, Easy Zapper was purchased by Logitech in 2004. And we've kept the Harmony name and branding since then. So a little bit on the history there. IR-based products, we won't spend too much time on this, but we do know that they are being offered by you guys, so we want to kind of touch on it briefly. Obviously, simplicity, these are simple PC-based programming, so Windows and Mac, you can program them on either one. Obviously, remotes like the 650 are great for those rooms where maybe the client, really didn't want to do a huge investment. Maybe you're doing a family room, but they happen to just need a replacement for a TV or cable box remote. 650 is a great product for that. However, one of the things that we've seen, obviously it's IR, so, you need to point the remote. There's no RF, there's no home control, Bluetooth, voice control. You can't do timed activities because these are simple IR remotes. Although they are great, they're still activity-based. One thing that I will recommend, though, and this is something that we've been pushing forward, and people seem to like the idea of this, if you can upgrade them to a 950, what's great about a 950 is that, one, and we'll talk about kind of the Elite and the Pro in just a little bit, but the 950 has that same form and function. It has the same touch screen with the same vibration feedback. It's got, the backlit buttons. It's a great remote. But what's really great with it is that it can later be upgraded. So it is an IR remote. Maybe they don't have a whole lot of home control products currently, but obviously that's more than likely going to change in the next few years. So what's great with the 950 is that you can actually upgrade it with a Harmony Hub later on, and that'll effectively create an Elite. So, like I said, if you can kind of push them on the fact that, hey, this is it's a little bit more than the 950. However, this product can actually be upgraded, and you're going to get that additional value so that, nobody hates anything worse than I got a remote that works, but they want to be able to control, a Nest thermostat or some lighting or some anything else like that, and now they can't because they have an IR and they gotta basically buy a new one. This allows them to get their upgrade without having to actually buy a new remote. So smart hub products, we'll talk about these here. So what the hub in general, so the hub runs across all the hub-based products, but basically it's an RF hub. So, in its simplest form, it's getting you RF control. So you can do that closed cabinet. It's got home control. So again, running over IP, over Bluetooth, you're basically able to control any of those products that we've done some IP integrations with. That lets you connect with Nest, that lets you connect with Roku, that lets you connect with SONOS and Philips Hue and a variety of other brands in there across that home control side. And then what's also great with it is that you've got iOS and Android apps. So basically, the phones and the tablets that almost all your clients have, they're able to control it. You can do up to 4 of them that are active at any given time. But we offer the apps for free so they can put it on all the devices that they may have in the house. So again, a great way to be able to control. Obviously, we know, clients ultimately like having a physical handheld remote, but they also like to be able to, control it with their phones and with their tablets, especially, and we'll talk about this in just a little bit as well, but when we're talking about out of the home remote control. So, and then lastly, iOS and Android setup. So this is, again, a big change with the hub, a change in how we've been doing things as installers. Like I said, I usually run with the PC that I use for my programming in the past, but the mobile app is actually faster and super convenient, does a little bit more stuff even too, and so we definitely recommend that if you guys are out there, you can use it from your phone, you can use it from a tablet. I tend to use an iPad mini, usually when I'm out in the field, and you can basically program everything that you want to out in the field. You can also do it remotely, which we'll talk about as well. But again, that's something that you can do in the hub. So IR products are programmable only by PC and Mac. And hub-based products are programmable by PC, Mac, iOS, and Android. Retail family overview. So these are the products that you see. They are offered through distribution, but they are also offered through retail. That starts with the Harmony Hub. Again, controls 8 entertainment devices, also controls an unlimited amount of home control devices. So again, if you have, like in my house, I've got about 30 different lights, running through the house. It controls all those. It controls my front door lock. It controls my Nest. It controls, everything that I have running in my home. It controls SONOS products. There is no limit onto the entertainment, that are home control based, IP based products. Bluetooth-based products, anything like that, and then it controls 8 IR-based products. The Harmony Companion steps up and allows you to have a physical remote, which again, a lot of people like to be able to have. It's nice, it's sleek, it feels good in the hand. It gives you control over your activities, your macros. It has some home control buttons on there as well, so you can control lighting, you control IP-enabled switches and things that you have on there. You've got full transport buttons. What this does not have is an IR output. So the reason for that, you guys, and this is always a discussion, is the idea that you're controlling your TV and everything using the blasters or using IR emitters and the rest. If you're trying to use your phone on an app, obviously you wouldn't be able to control the TV with that unless that blaster or that IR emitter is able to obviously control the TV. So that's the reason with a remote like the Companion, you don't really need an IR on there. However, we know obviously a lot of people do need it. And if there's one thing that's going to be IR controlled that's not away in a closet or in a cabinet, it's that TV. And we know that, clients are obviously, and everybody is used to pointing the remote at the TV. So if there's one product that is going to be IR enabled, the TV is usually a classic piece for that, especially if it's on the opposite side or, away from the closed cabinet. So the step to that in the Elite obviously adds quite a few more features, which we'll talk about in a moment, but does have an IR port on the front. So it does have that IR emitter. Some of the competitive products that are in the same price range do not have an IR emitter. But like I said, this is a great way to do it. So, all your other equipment may be running off of RF, but obviously having that capability of running the TV remote off of IR is always a good thing. And again, you guys, those are the Elite products. But Pro is what we really want to talk about here. So some of the features that are Pro and Elite, because they are obviously similar, but they are not the same products, you guys. I know I've seen some stuff out there that inadvertently says that it's kind of the Elite Pro, and it's really not. We'll talk about why it's not. But some of the key features on there, like I said, I pointed out that there's an IR output on the front with the emitter, backlit buttons. Again, there's a few products out there that don't have backlit buttons in the same or slightly higher price range, but it's obviously an important thing. Nobody wants, if it's dark and everybody's kind of running around, you want to pick up that remote, have the buttons light up for you. Touch-sensitive screen with vibration feedback. So you guys, for the last, 8+ years, almost all your clients have touchscreen-enabled phones. What people get used to with that is the ability to basically be able to slide and scroll and all those things that they want to be able to do on their touch screen. And yet, for many people, the remotes don't mimic that technology. And that's something that we do. So, any of the activities, it is a touch screen, it is a full touch screen, it is scrolling touch screen, and when you click on it, it gives you a vibration, feedback for it, so you can actually feel that it started up. Visual favorites. So we'll talk about favorites in a little bit as well, but for TV, Roku, SONOS, rechargeable battery with the vertical charging stand. Again, small things, but we wanted to make sure that, you didn't have to just plug in a micro USB to the thing, although it does have a micro USB port that's covered on the bottom, so when you do need to update it or, need to plug it in for some reason, that way you can. But basically has a great vertical standing charging base, so it doesn't take up very much room. Unlimited activities, like I talked about before, so you can program as many different activities as you want in there, from watch Netflix to, watch TV, listen to Sonos, but you can also do activities such as good morning, good night, home and away, which are obviously popular ones as well for people being able to control not only their entertainment stack, but also their home control devices. And then timer controlled activities. So again, end of the night, I know in my household, my wife prefers to have the TV on. She says it helps her fall asleep. But then, 2 o'clock rolls around and it's still on. With the timer controlled activity, you basically set it up to say, I want it to go off in 30 minutes, an hour, and now the whole system will shut off. And again, it's not like old school where it's just turning off the TV. It's going to turn off the entire activity, which means your entire stack, your AVR, your speakers, your lights, your TV, all that kind of stuff is going to go off. And then the biggest piece with Pro and Elite and all the hub-based products in all reality is off-site software updates. So this is one of the biggest. This is one of my favorites. Obviously, truck rolls are always an expense to us. So at this point, everything in our programming in our MyHarmony site is cloud-based, which means I can log in. So obviously, you probably went to the client's first time when you were installing the equipment. But they call up, they needed to change something wasn't working quite right. Whatever that reason is, you can actually log into their system. Tweak it remotely and then push that update to them. They don't have to do anything. It will actually sync through to the hub, to the apps, to the remote, all while you're off-site. So save yourself a trip when you can. I actually have done one, and Pike, who's usually here with me, when we do our other webinars, we've actually done them where we'll actually turn on FaceTime with the client, and we have them, just put it out in front of the room so we could see what was actually going on, and we actually troubleshot it right in front of them, updated the software programming in there, tweaked it around, pushed it back out, and helped them on the way. So, again, you can turn a 2-hour truck roll, into a 15-minute conversation sometimes. So those are the benefits of both the Pro and the Elite in there. But when we get exclusive into the Harmony Pro, and we'll talk about these again in a little bit more depth in just a minute, but extended 2-year warranty. Elite has a 1-year warranty. Pro has a 2-year warranty. It's precision IR blasters, so we wanted to make sure not just the general blaster, but a precision IR emitter. It actually has 4 leads off of it, and there's 2 of them in the box. So we'll talk about that in a second, and then multi-zone support. So let's talk about them, like I said, a little bit more in depth here. Pro versus Elite. So like I was showing on here, you guys can see on the screen. So what the Elite comes with and the Pro comes with is obviously you have a hub. That hub actually has 6 IR blasters inside the hub. So again, a lot of power, basically turning on and off your system. So again, you can get across the room, you can get up through a cabinet. It does a really good job at just working off the hub itself. In addition to that, we include 2 IR blasters that come in the pack as well. And again, you can obviously position those into different places. Those ports on the back, there are 2 ports on the back. They are both assignable. Again, this is something that a lot of installers don't know. They put them on there and they assume because it's a blaster that it's obviously just going everywhere, but they are assignable. So, and that's true on the Elite too. So like I said, you can definitely say, okay, this blaster gets these products, this blaster gets these sources, and then the hub is maybe blasting out a 3rd set. But what the Pro offers is a step up. You still obviously have the hub, you still have the 2 IR blasters, but we also include 2 sets of 4 IR emitters. So basically, there's 2 cables that go in there, and on the other end, there's 4 IR emitters that come off the other side. So again, if you're like me and you're still running, because I've had my house for a while, I've got a 42 space rack that centrally distributes out to 8 different zones. Obviously I have in there as well as 2 cable boxes. I've got 2 Apple TVs. I've got duplicates of a few different things since it's going out to the whole entire house. So I use these, I basically IR assign, 1 set out to 1 cable box, and IR assign the other one out to the other cable box, same thing for the Apple TVs and so on. So, like I said, great additional benefit in there, especially like I said, it's a great addition to be able to do that. Obviously, we have little boots on there too, so we don't want that IR bleeding out to anything else. So a great additional add-on, especially for those of you that are installing maybe duplicate equipment in a house. Pro warranty. So again, like I was mentioning, the Pro warranty is 2 years versus the Elite and all other Harmony products, which is 1-year warranty. So like I said, that 2-year warranty is a great. It's that additional. Again, as you offer to your client. You're doubling the warranty on there. Just so you guys know as well, I spoke with 2 of our key distributors recently because I wanted to see what are our RMAs, what our defective returns look like. I got from one of the distributors, it's 0.5, so 0.5%, which is extremely low, pretty much the best in the industry. The distributor was impressed. I've been doing this stuff, like I said, in the manufacturing side for about 10 years and installing for 15. And, like I said, from an install perspective, obviously we want bulletproof, right? So, this is the product. So one distributor said 0.5. The other one actually came back and said 0.04%. So, that's basically somebody did something, the kid probably dropped it in the water. And we ended up taking it back. So you don't have to worry about, reliability, 2-year warranty. That's why we feel confident in sticking a 2-year warranty on there. But like I said, these products, they get sold and they stick because we're not seeing them come back. They're easy to use. The clients like them. They're not having, hardware defective issues or anything like that. So again, you can feel confident in selling those products out there. And then also we have multi-zone. So this is actually a newer feature, and again, only available on the Pro, so as a step from the Elite. And what this allows us to do is, especially on any of the newer receivers, there are some rules in it in that, so certain newer receivers, and they have to be set up in a certain way, but basically, you've got your main zone in your AVR, but most of us have a second zone and a third zone. So the Pro allows you to have really easy, simple control. So basically, when you're in your system, either on your app or on your remote, if you slide that over to the right, to the last page, it'll ask you, do you want to turn on zone 2? Do you want to turn on zone 3? It's as simple as a check mark, and it goes on. You have discrete volume control over those zones. So again, it's a great way if somebody's got their AVR in their family room, but maybe they've also got speakers in their kitchen or speakers in their backyard. The Pro allows a great way to be able to control that second and third zone. That's really super simple and easy to use. So like I said, that is a newer feature that we just introduced into the Pro and is only available on the Pro. We are trying to see, and I won't go too deep into it because this is just something that we've been talking about recently, but we've been talking about perhaps, since the Pro hasn't been as offered as long as the Elite, perhaps allowing older Elites to be upgraded to have that same feature, because we know obviously a lot of installers like that. So we are trying to see what we can do from that perspective, but it will never be offered as an Elite benefit going forward because, again, the whole idea with the Pro is creating a SKU that is different from retail, and is specifically designed for the installer in mind. So obviously we want to include some additional, benefits that you guys get that everybody else doesn't. And then here's the biggest one, you guys, channel distribution. So the Elite, like I said, it's a great remote. If you really like it and you've been selling it for a while, by all means, we appreciate the support on any product that we carry. But those products are obviously sold at retail. They're sold at Best Buy. They're sold at Amazon.com. And while that helps with building the brand awareness, with consumers, obviously it hurts because, people like to throw things on Amazon and 3PLs and gray market stuff, for at a discounted price. With the Pro product, there is only distributors. It is only distributed in the Pro channel. So you will never see this product on retail. If we ever see it on retail, we yank it down super fast because we know that it's gray market. We have also been known for pulling the dealers and the distributors. If anybody is actually caught doing it, we are very protective of this line. This has been my big thing since I've come in is, protecting the line to make sure that, your client's not coming in saying, hey, I found this product for this much cheaper because it was online. You do not have to worry about that with the Pro. And like I said, I'm constantly checking and we have guys constantly checking and you really don't see it out there. So again, hopefully those give you a few solid reasons in there as to why you guys should be selling the Pro over the Elite. The other piece is you make a couple bucks more money. Elite pricing from a retail consumer perspective, Elite's about $350, Pro's about $400. So again, there's not a huge difference in terms of consumer price. But like I said, you make a little bit more money. There's no reason that they shouldn't with those features, the multi-zone and the double warranty, the IR emitters. There should be plenty of reasons in there to be able to step them up to the Pro without too much issue. Pro support-wise, you guys, again, many of you guys don't know this. I will show you where to find this. You don't have to copy this down right now, or especially if you're driving, definitely don't copy this down right now. But the installer technical support. So we have a dedicated dealer line. This is not the consumer line. Consumers can't call on this line. They do not have the number. We don't publish it out, on the website or anything like that. This number is specifically designed for dealers. It's open 7 days a week. So, again, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern. So, again, a good long, window there. And then Saturdays and Sundays it's open from 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Eastern. So, again, great service in there. This is your tier 2 escalation, tech support. So, like I said, it's not the guy who's generally getting a consumer call with something really, really simple. The guy that's picking up on this line assumes that it's an installer and they probably know what they're doing and they have something that they're trying to get done, right then and there in the house, and they got to get that done. So great dealer technical support. And then again, there's times where Pike and myself are obviously taking calls and fielding calls from installers because we love doing that as well. And then beneath that, you can see the report AV device issue. So again, Harmony team plus data at logitech.com. You can find this on the Pro portal. So again, I'll show you where to find that. Super easy. But this is where you would go again if you had a product that doesn't show up for some reason in our database. Obviously, like I said, if it's IR, you can learn it right on the spot if you need to be able to do it to get done with your job. But otherwise, just email them with the name of the product, the model number, and what the issue is, and they will dig right into it. And they can usually, within a day or so, get that up and into the system so that any other products that you need or any other projects that you have moving forward, you guys have that ability. So again, some great additional features in there. We'll talk about some other stuff in just a little bit here. But like I said, some great features in there, specific to the dealer community. Plays well with others. So again, a remote is great. It can be the most technically advanced and feel good in the hand and everything else, but it's got to control stuff, right? So we have in our system right now over 275,000 devices. Average installer probably installs about 50 to 60 devices. Obviously not one job, but meaning, different brands, different products depending on the client. So like I said, we've got all the new stuff, but we've also got a ton of legacy stuff that we've had it in our database since 2001. And we just continue to add and add and add. And that obviously includes smart TVs, AVRs, streaming services, game consoles, and you can see some of the brands that are on here. But again, we cover pretty much everything. IT-enabled home control, we'll talk about this for a little bit here, but if you haven't been doing it, this is where everything is going, you guys. Personally, it is a much more thorough way of controlling your systems. IP, when done properly and with the true partnership between the control company and the brand, allows for super deep control. We can obviously control lights, thermostats, blinds, locks, home controls. We have brands like Lutron. We control Lutron Cassetta at the time. We are working on Radio Raw 2. Like I said, I go way back to the Radio Raw days. But like I said, we're working on that one with Lutron. But again, good partners with Lutron. We have Cassetta, which seems to be growing very steadily. In this business, we have IP control, two-way control over August, Philips Hue, LifeX, Hunter Douglas, Honeywell, and so forth. Samsung SmartThings, Nest, Ecobee. But again, you guys, this is the way everything seems to be moving along. It's great because there is no limit to the amount of IP products that we can actually control. So again, you want to throw 50 Philips Hue bulbs in a house, more power to you. We can control each one of those directly, color and everything. Door locks and Lutrons and blinds, and we also have Lutron blinds as well. Again, we have Samsung with their SmartThings for Z-Wave. We also have an extender, which we offer, it's probably about $75 usually at dealer. And this extender offers Z-Wave and Zigbee, and attaches right into your, right into your Harmony Hub. So, like I said, another great way to be able to control things that way. Bluetooth control, again, this is gaining more legs as you look at things like Amazon Fire TV, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit here. But again, we use PS3s, PS4s, and the new NVIDIA Shield, which is a great Android player. But we're able to actually control all of these over Bluetooth because we have Bluetooth enabled in the hub as well. And voice control. This has been the big one, you guys. Normally, when we do these presentations, just as a general, I have the ability to launch some polls. So I'll tell you guys what we just did some presentations last week. So I'll kind of give you the general gist. So when it comes to voice control, what we're finding is about 40% of the installers are starting to offer this. They're either offering it directly, or they're saying that they offer. It was about 20-20. 20% of the guys are actually installing it and offering it to their clients, and a little over 20% were saying, yeah, I install it if my client asks. So something that they're not necessarily proactively pitching. And obviously, people haven't been proactively pitching it because they typically don't make a lot of money off of it, especially off the Amazon Alexa. We have two-way integration with both Amazon Alexa and Google Home. The one thing that I will tell you guys is this is coming down the road, and it's actually here right now. So we launched Amazon Alexa. We were actually one of the first major control companies to launch that back in October of last year. Since October, we have over 150,000 integrations with Amazon Alexa. So again, not a small amount. And here's my big pitch to this. You may not make a lot of money on this, but the way that I usually run my business with it, and the way I usually recommend it, is with 150,000 units just with Harmony integrations, and obviously they've sold millions of units out there. If you are not installing this product in your client's home, there's a good chance that they are installing this product in your client in their own home, or even worse, they're having somebody else come in and do it. So, nowadays you've got obviously Geek Squad, you've got, Amazon themselves are actually doing in-home consultancy where they will basically plug in an Alexa to your home system, show you how it works, make sure you like it, and all those kinds of things. Obviously, that's not the same as what we do, but from the consumer's perspective, this is cool technology. Most of it's not that expensive. It's something that they want to try. Maybe their buddy has it. I'm always of the belief that you want to own a system end to end. Anytime a client wants to talk about new technology or add something, whether it's something that I make a lot of money on or whether I don't, I still want to own it. I want them calling me for everything, because then, if I don't and they're trying to install their Alexa into their system, it's not hard to do. But, like I said, you run the risk that something happens, or Google Home or any of these products in there. We'll talk about some other products in a little bit too. But like I said, voice control is definitely coming in there. Google Home we launched about 2 months ago. So it's a little slower on that side than what Alexa's been. But we've got, again, over 12,000 people just in the last, like I said, just less than 2 months have already set up with Google Home. So, again, something to definitely think about. If you haven't played with one, I'd at least get one. You can pick up an Amazon Dot for about $50. So, again, something to play around with. And Google Home, again, a great product as well, and maybe a little bit more friendly towards the CI category. Favorites controls. So again, great piece to be able to have in here. We allow 50 of your customers' favorite channels. Really simple to do. We already pre-populate all the images. We try to make it easy. No copying and pasting. No finding PNGs off the internet. What we basically do is we ask what your zip code is and what your cable provider is, cable, DirecTV, Dish Network, what have you. As you're installing it for your client, you basically type those two things in, and we pre-populate the whole list of all the channels, be it SD, HD. You can filter through there, and basically you pick those top 50 things, you star them, and they show up on here. So they'll show up on the app, they'll show up on the remote, and like I said, the images are already preloaded. So if you need to do something, or maybe your client wants a different image for something for a particular reason, you can actually update your own image in there. But like I said, for the most part, the images are already pre-populated, so we're just trying to save you time on there. The other thing that you can do, and this is kind of a little cool tips and tricks, when you're in your activities, if you slide over to the left, it'll actually pull up your TV favorites. So if you want to, you don't even have to hit, your watch TV activity and then hit ESPN. You can basically slide right over, hit ESPN, and you're already there without even having to launch the activity. It automatically launches it for you. SONOS Favorites. So, again, this is a poll that I've been launching recently too. How many of you guys are actually installing SONOS products? So, what we've found is that it's pretty close to about 80%. So, usually about, again, 40% or so of the people, 40 to 50% are actively installing it as a brand that they carry and offer. Again, another 30 to 40% are offering it as brands when somebody asks for it. And then about 20% of the people are just saying that they choose not to install it. I can understand that. Like I said, in the past, I used to be a big Niles guy. And again, still obviously a great brand. But, what we've been finding is that people want to install this stuff, and where it's great, and especially for that Harmony customer as well, is that, for a lot of guys, they're not willing to commit to, the big whole house audio distribution. They don't want 4 to 6 zones because they don't know what they need yet. It's a lot easier to sell them, let's say, a Harmony remote with the Sonos Play 1, put it in the house, let them get used to it, come back 30 days later, say, what do you think? And more than likely, you're going to start putting more Sonos products room to room to room. And I think that's where Sonos really has done a good service for the CI community. Is in the fact that they're getting more audio into more places, into more homes that maybe wouldn't have been, typical audio distribution homes in the past. So, used properly, you can definitely, make a good business off of running that. One of the things that I found interesting, we get to pull a lot of data that comes into us. So over 20% of all Sonos users that have one Sonos product, over 20% of them are Connect. And if you don't know what a Connect product is, it's neither an amplifier nor a speaker. It is literally just, it takes all the sources and it allows you to play it typically through an AVR. And really that's the only reason to buy one of these things is because you have an AVR that you want to add Sonos into. And so, again, this is where I say, wanting to own that customer end to end, I would rather be the one installing this. If they're not up for a bigger, larger audio distribution system, I'd still rather be selling that Sonos Connect because if they're going to stick it in the back of my AVR, I want to make sure that I'm the one who wired it in there. So, because otherwise, like I said, I run the risk that I'm going to get a call and end up having to roll a truck anyways. So something to think about as you guys are looking at that. In terms of our integration with Sonos, we have great two-way control. So we can obviously turn any of the Sonos units on. We can turn on multiple units and group them together. We can basically launch favorites. So you can see on here, any of the Sonos favorites that you create in your playlists, you have access to directly from the remote. So, again, you don't have to open up the app all the time. You can basically do it right here. We'll also show you in a little bit how to do that with Pop, which is a great way to do it as well. And Roku. This will be my last of the, great other people pitches. Roku, again, we're finding only about 40% of the installers have been offering this so far. Again, it's a small product. It ranges. There's a small little stick piece, and then there's actual, other bridge type products. It is a simple product by all means. There are hundreds of devices now, as you know, between your DVD player and your TV and your cable boxes and everything else that offer a good portion of the streaming devices, Apple TVs and so on and so forth. Roku is probably the best from a CI perspective. They really actually spend a good amount of time in the CI community. We talk with them all the time. What's great with this product is you actually have direct access, IP control access, over each app. So if you use, we use Apple TV as kind of the one that most everybody knows. Typically, if I install an Apple TV for a client, the only way to get, let's say if you want a Netflix, so the way I usually do it is you hit the menu button, brings you to the main screen. It always starts in the top left corner. I'll put Netflix up in the top left corner. If they want something else in that top row, maybe I drop it down one, and then basically I create a macro that says, okay, you turn on Apple TV, you hit the menu button, you drop down one, then you hit OK, and it should launch Netflix. The problem with that is obviously the client has control over their Apple TV. So they add an app, they delete an app, somebody decides to move one around, and the next time they hit watch Netflix, it doesn't work. What Roku has done, which is tremendous for any of their apps, so Netflix, Hulu, YouTube, HBO Go, Showtime, Sling, whatever it is that they're using to stream, it has direct IP control. So you say watch Netflix, you program it in there. Every time they hit watch Netflix, it goes to Netflix. Every time they hit HBO Go, it goes directly to HBO Go. So this is the right way to do it. This is like discrete. For power on commands and the rest, in the IP world for streaming devices. So if you haven't played with it, again, customers are asking for it. This is what they're using. We have over 330,000 of our customers that are using Roku products with their systems. So again, you guys, not always favorites, not always a lot of big money with it, but definitely a good product to be able to take a look at. Home control buttons. So again, really cool feature. These are on the Elite, these are on the Pro, and these are actually on the Companion as well. But this allows you to be able to control lighting. This allows you to control Wemo switches or anything that's IP enabled that we can control. And basically, again, it's a custom button. The button's on there, like so you do a single tap and maybe it turns your light on. You do a long press and it turns the light off. And then you can see the rocker with the plus minus in the middle here. And that's allowing you to dim your lights. So, again, as we look at lighting control, I know you guys carry a variety of brands, but Philips Hue in there as well. We'll do a demo here in a little bit, but I've got a variety. I've got some Lutron shades. I've got some Lutron products. I've got some Philips Hue bulbs in here. But again, Philips Hue, you guys, great product. What I really like about it is that it dims like everything else, but you can also change colors. And as you show that to clients, it's again something that they like. It may not be that they use it every day, but definitely something that they like to show their friends, and we all know that's a good portion of why people do these, to make things easier for themselves and so that they kind of have something cool, and colored lighting control definitely hits that. What I also like with this, and this fits in with the Sonos and the Harmony and, kind of everything together is, again, you can do it room by room. You can do it bulb by bulb. So somebody's not sure that they want full lighting control in the house, great. Let's throw 2 or 3 bulbs, in their family room or a bedroom. Let them use it for 30 days, call them back. This is great from my perspective. This is how you create a recurring revenue stream. So if you have those weeks where maybe it's not quite as busy, It's a great opportunity to be able to call them up, say, hey, you like those, those 3 bulbs in your family room? Why don't we stick that in the bedroom? Why don't we stick that on the front porch? Why don't we stick that, wherever they want it? It's easy to start adding lighting control and audio distribution room by room by room. And again, it's a great way to be able to make money, and it's a great way to create that recurring revenue stream. What we'll also be having, we'll talk about our e-learning portal here in just a little bit, but we'll be showing some tips and tricks. So now imagine, like, so you throw a few Philips Hue bulbs in, and now it's the holidays, so hey, Christmas time, why don't we make the porch lights go red and green instead of the normal white? There's a lot of ways that you can do that where it's, hey, you charge them for an hour of programming. Again, you do it on a slow day. You can also do it remotely. You don't even have to go out there. You can literally update their system while you're in the office, while you're on another job. Give them red and green lights. You can set a timer to it. You can use an if you guys are using IFTT. You can use our timers on it, and you can say, hey, now you got this, and now the timers go on, and the lights turn red and green. You can do the same thing in a house. We'll show a party scene here in a little bit. But again, great ways, you guys, to make a little bit more money, and do it again if it's a little bit slower. So home control buttons, great way to be able to add that control. And again, for most of us and most clients, they're watching TV. They want to dim down the lights. They don't want to open up apps. They don't want to get up to turn off the switch. They don't even want to have to change out the activities and everything. It's literally a button that just sits right on the remote, so it's super simple and easy for them to be able to do it. Compatible programming platforms, we talked about this earlier. Like I said, so IR devices are Windows and Mac only. Hub-based products are Windows, Mac, iOS, and Android. So again, you can program it on pretty much anything that you need to. Adding devices, like I said, we won't go through a full setup in here. Really simple, easy to do. If you're not using Harmony, it takes generally we do a simple setup in here typically with TV, AVR, cable box, Roku, 2 or 3 SONOS products, a few lighting products, and we can have it from beginning to uploaded to the remote and done in 15 to 18 minutes, and that's every time. So, again, really simple, easy to do, but the really cool part with this product, and as things are moving into this direction, is scanning for Wi-Fi devices. So most of us, myself included, come from a place of, basically copying and pasting. If you sell the same general products to most customers, you're able to basically duplicate that file, and now you got a remote that's basically set up to work. Where that is starting to change is with IP-enabled products. So IP-enabled products, like I said, give you far deeper control and far better control over your system. So it's definitely the way that the industry should be moving. However, what it requires is it needs to know the MAC. So in most of the brands out there, you basically add that product in manually, and you need to be able to type in your IP address, MAC address, to add that product in. What we do is we actually scan over your network. And so it says on there scan for Wi-Fi just because people seem to understand Wi-Fi, but really it'll do anything that you have connected over Ethernet. So, any of your products that are connected, which is most of our products nowadays, you have it connected in there, you hit scan, it pulls them all up on there. You just check off the ones. If there's some product that for some reason isn't designed to be put in your system, just uncheck the box. You hit next, and these products are already input into your system. They already have the MAC addresses put in, so you do not have to be looking around for the MAC addresses and everything else. All that work is already done for you. Now, every once in a while, you'll find a product that doesn't scan, and there's 2 reasons for that. One, sometimes the devices are just not enabling it. So IP is still fairly new, and a lot of the manufacturers, they're used to a slightly more proprietary way of doing things. I always say it's like IR codes. There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to easily find every IR code under the sun for every product. And yet you're looking for IR codes and it's hard to find them, and everybody's chatting on a remote central trying to find something. So IP is in the same place, but since it's newer, it's even worse. So sometimes the products just don't enable themselves to be discovered. At which point, add it in manually. If this handles 80% of your stuff, hey, that still saves you a good amount of your time. And then just add them in. The other thing that I see people doing, and I've done this as well, I forget to turn on the product. So turning on the power is obviously a key thing. There are a few products, because they're in standby mode, that are actually discoverable even if they're off. But what I've found many times is, we'll get a call from somebody and they're like, why doesn't this work? And we'll tell them, hey, is everything turned on? They turn on the power, they rescan the device, and it pulls up. So, again, something to think about with it that way. It is designed, it's purely a tool to make things easier for you. The other thing I will do sometimes, Apple TV is a little notorious for not always being fully discoverable. As an example, I have 2 in my house. So when I first set mine up, I scanned, I found one of them. So all I did was I said yes, add that one, and then I rescanned and it found the other one. So, again, if you do it a couple times, if it's not finding that product for some reason, just enter it manually. It's faster than scanning 10 times hoping you're going to get it. But I will oftentimes, if there's something that didn't get added for some reason, I'll scan that second time, and sometimes it will come up because it really just becomes into timing. We ping out to see what's there, try to get that information. If it doesn't ping back fast enough, then it doesn't come up on the list. So something to take a look at, but again, a great tool to save you guys some additional time. Pop Home Switch. So you guys, this is a really, really cool product. I've been playing with it since I came in. I've got them all over my house. I keep buying them because I'm finding new things to be able to do. So we'll start out with the demo here. Like I said, it's just a small switch. It has 3 button presses. So basically there's a single press, a double press, and then a long press. The long press is about 2 seconds. So I'll show you guys exactly how this thing works. We tap it once. You can see the lighting changing in the room. So I've got, and now you can hear the SONOS products going on in here. So again, I probably have, 18, 20 different light bulbs in here. They're all different colors, but this is kind of our party mode. But again, you can see just with a single press, all your lights change, the SONOS units come on. It's a macro, you guys, but again, the idea is that it came off of just a simple remote. You do a double tap, and then from there, you can actually see, so you'll see the lighting change. It changes the favorites list. So, again, and then we'll go ahead and clear this off. So we'll do a long press, and you can see the harshness comes up. I always say that's the last call press. And then I got another one on there that actually sets it up for webinars, which affects the lighting again as well. So, but what was basically happening there is, like I said, it was changing it, but from a single press, it turned on the lights, switched the lights to a specific color, turned on the SONOS, went to a specific SONOS favorites playlist. When I did the double tap, again, it changed all the lighting colors. Then it actually changed the playlist on the SONOS as well. So again, you actually have a ton of different control that's in there. And then, like I said, the third long press, I used to basically turn off all the music, turn all the lights back up and onto white, so that everybody knows what's going on. And again, this can be a great product, you guys. If you just look at that way, it's great for parties in somebody's house. But you could also use this in a commercial application. You could truly use this for like a last call. Good way to be able to, single tap, turn on all the lights, and again, do a long press at the end of the night, and everything, music turns off and lights come up. So, compatibility-wise, again, a lot of the same brands that we obviously had on the Harmony side. We control lights, SONOS products, blinds, locks, home control hubs, our new Circle camera, and Harmony Hub remotes as well, obviously. Lutron works with Cassetta, Osram Lighting, August, LifeX, Philips Hue, IFTTT, Samsung SmartThings, and then, like I said, Harmony and Circle. And then the new products coming out pretty quick here will actually be Apple HomeKit enabled. So we basically add that feature in there. Not that everybody uses it, but again, if you need something or your client, is asking for something specifically, just so you know, it is enabled. But again, with or without that, it obviously controls all these other products. What's the technology behind it? BTLE, basically. So Bluetooth Smart is the official name for it. I usually call it BTLE or Bluetooth Low Energy. What it is basically a button cell battery that sits inside here. That battery lasts for 5 years. So you really don't have to worry about it. Like I said, you can set them up. It comes with a double-sided 3M, double-sided stick tape. So you can put it on a wall. You don't have to worry about it. It's not going to mark up the wall when you pull it off. So great product that way. Or, again, you can just kind of leave them so that they're floating around the house. But, again, the amount of things that you can control, people are just finding new uses for them all the time. My daughter has one in her bedroom with a Philips Hue bulb. So, she loves it because she can turn the lights on, she can turn the lights off, but she can also change the different colors. So she uses it for that. You can use it, again, for audio products. It will control and ties into a Harmony Hub. So any activities that you've created on the Harmony side, so let's say watch TV or anything like that, you can also control from here as well. So, again, a lot of really cool things to be able to do. That product is, again, usually around $75 at dealer cost. So a great product, really easy to add. And the point with most of these things, like so we already did a live demo there. The point of these things is, how can we maximize, again, the dollars, the customer satisfaction, everything in there. And then also, like I said, creating that recurring revenue stream. So, I guarantee you, again, you put one or two of these in a client's home just to let them try it out. Again, maybe it's with a Harmony product, with some Philips bulbs, with some SONOS products. You do one room, give them 30 days, call them back. They will be buying more of these things. Like I said, I started out with 2 or 3 in my house. Now I think I got 7 or 8 in my house. Because you start putting in more rooms. I got them in my bathroom so I can turn on my SONOS. I got a Connect amp that runs to speakers in my ceiling. So again, great ways to be able to kind of set up products like that and add dollars to the ticket. Coming soon. So I'm not allowed to release my dates on these yet, but these are actually coming up really quick. We will have IP control over Sony TVs and LG TVs. So again, a great addition. Which means that you don't even need IR to be able to access that TV. You'll have full IP control over it. Gives you a lot of new features, so that's a great new addition there. And then on the AVR side, we'll have Sony, Onkyo Integra, and then Denon Marantz. So those are both coming up pretty quick. Like I said, and we've got many more coming in. This really is kind of the future of the way everything is going. I always liken it to RS-232, and what that's done to make things, more specific over, let's say, IR and especially over blasters. IP is even more specific than that. Once it's tied together, it's pretty well tied together, and again, offers a much deeper level of control. That is what we have on there. I will show you guys really quick. So coming up soon, you guys get a little exclusive on this beforehand. This is our new e-learning platform. So I've been working really hard on this for the last couple months here. This will launch in July. So this is really designed, again, whether you've been installing Harmony for a while or whether you're brand new, this is designed to give you from beginner training to advanced training. Tips and tricks, things like that. This is where we'll have, again, a lot of it's designed to actually walk you through how to do setups. In one of these examples, I won't go through it based on time, but, adding the Harmony skills to Alexa, it walks you through. It's a 5-minute video, and it literally walks you through. You can put a mobile app right next to it, and you can go step by step along with it. So, again, a great way to be able to pick up those new things, especially as we offer new IP integrations and things like that. You can come here and be able to get those trainings. The other thing that we offer on here is, similar to this. This one's obviously exclusive with AllNet, but we do have monthly webinars that we offer. They usually do an overview one day and an advanced dive the next day. But that page will always be on here. So whenever you come in to log in here for training, you can see when the next webinar is. And if you click on it, live link, it'll take you directly to the registration page. So we try to make it super easy for you guys. And then lastly on here, for those of you guys that are trying to do some marketing, we got our resources tab. And this is going to give you access to, images and collateral and videos and, any of those things that you guys need to be able to take a look at. So you need a Harmony Pro with the hub and the app and a high-res PNG. Obviously, I'm only putting up PNG, so they're already clipped for you guys, so no white backgrounds. But you can see you got a good one on there. You can download it. You need a lifestyle image. Again, you guys have them on there. So again, whether you're doing something in print, whether you're doing something for your website, by all means, that's what these resources are on there for, in addition to collateral and, like I said, videos and things like that. So that, like I said, is the installer portal, the e-learning portal. The last piece on here, if you guys haven't signed up, so this is the Pro portal. And I'll walk you through this. So if you go to pro.myharmony.com, it'll take you right here. You can request a Harmony installer account if you don't already have one. I do, so we'll go ahead and log right into mine. As you come in here, it brings you in here. Now, what you see is on this left-hand column, this will show all of your clients. There is no limit to the amount of clients that you can put in here. So by all means, load it up as best you can. But like I said, this will list all of your clients. This is how you access them all remotely. So again, it's a great place. You come to the portal. You can see all of your clients in here. You can come into the search. You can search by name. You can search by email. So whatever you need, however you know your client, you can basically pull them up that way. Then you can access any of the remotes that they may have in their house and see it that way. When you need to add a new account, so you got a new program that you're doing, you can basically come right down here, add a new account. Or if you come up to this top menu and go ahead and open it up, you can add a new account there. You can import new accounts. So if you already have, like a lot of our installers do, they weren't aware of the Pro Portal. We launched this basically right at CES. It's been out for a little bit, but just trying to make sure that everybody knows about it. So if you have client accounts on any of the hub products, 350s, 650s, 950s, any of the products that you program on myHarmony, you can basically import those right in here. You just need their username and the password, and you can set it up. You can adjust your settings, which is your name and your email and phone numbers. You can find tools and firmware for any of the remotes on there. And then here's the key information, you guys, to make this really simple and easy to find, because you're probably already in the Pro Portal if you're programming. But if you have any questions, the installer technical support, so the dedicated line is sitting right here. If you have devices, like I said, with any IR stuff that you don't have a code on there, you have access to be able to put that on there as well. So again, keep it right up in the front. We don't put it on the consumer site because we don't want consumers calling in on these lines. This is specifically for dealers. But like I said, great features that are on there. And again, if you guys are looking for, we'll have the e-learning up, like I said, very quickly. But otherwise, we have our user guide at myharmony.com/pro. And if you click right on that, you'll see, again, a lot of good information and a good amount of articles on how to install products and all these different things that are in here as well. So, again, a lot of cool tools to be able to help you guys out for stuff. I will stop sharing my page here. And that's what I got. That was, like I said, a lot of stuff to cover, so I appreciate you guys.
Hey, Brett, we've got some questions that came up, and
absolutely.
it might be best to have your screen back on if you want to walk through some of these things. So in the presentation, you talked about how the remotes, in addition to being touchscreen, they also have the ability to do gesture-based control.
Yes.
Left to right, up and down, and also there's tactile feedback. But on the gesture-based control, which devices have the ability to enable gesture-based?
Sure. So gesture-based obviously requires a touchscreen, which basically fits it into the Elite and the Pro. So just like the questions coming up on there, so depending, DVDs are a prime example on there because it's fairly simple transport. But if they don't want to use the transport buttons, they're, again, used to some gesture slides and sweeps. Basically, it'll pull up, and on the screen, it'll actually show a little finger on there. And then you can actually use the touch screen as gesture control. So a double tap pauses, a single tap plays. If you slide over to the right, it'll actually fast forward. You slide it again, it'll do a 2x or however the source is set up. But again, you have simple gesture control that you can use a finger, you can use a thumb on there. So if you don't want to use the transports, that is a feature that's on there for the Elite and the Pro.
Okay, thanks for elaborating on that. Also, look, toward the beginning of the presentation, you talked about learning new devices that are not in the database. And then you mentioned sending in those codes to, you said there's a staff of 20 people that monitor and curate that database. So can you go over that pretty quickly, or is that something you can do on the screen?
Yeah. So here, let me share this back in. So this is where I was saying we had. So if you have a question for it, like I said, you can always IR to get you through the job where you're at. But this is where if you go into the Pro Portal and you go into that pull-down menu and you see the dealer call-in number, but below that is report AV device issue. So that's basically the email account where if you have an issue, so it's the Harmony team plus data at logitech.com. A little long, but I don't know how they decided that should be the email address for it. But again, it's right there. You got a link so you can click right on it. But that's where you would go. And all you would do is you would just tell them, I'm trying to install, again, most AV devices are there, but let's say there's one that's not, or maybe you're installing a fireplace. You're seeing more IR-based fireplaces and things like that. IR-based, Samsung makes an air conditioning unit, so There's some of those products that just they haven't been enabled because we don't know every product that's out there, or even though we have Samsung TVs and DVD players and everything else, we don't know that they've got an air conditioning unit for us to be able to program. If you email those guys right there, they will actually get those codes put in. So they will reach out to Samsung and they will figure out the codes, and they will get them put into the database so that, again, the next time you see one of those products, it should already be in the database so you don't have to learn it again.
Okay, thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
The next, so we had some really basic questions about, you mentioned that Radio Rot 2 is coming, Caseta is currently covered. So on the HVAC side, currently I saw Nest and Ecobee.
Correct.
We distribute April Air, and the question came through is, will the April Air communicating thermostat product be supported?
So we don't have an IP control over it right now. They are a group that we've been talking with to see what we can do. Same thing like with Honeywell. We control a couple of their products, but not the whole suite of their products. So we are constantly adding new products like anything else. Like I said, 20 guys is a lot, but with hundreds and thousands of products out there, and especially IP control, true two-way, it's a lot more complex than, let's say, adding IR codes. So it just takes a little bit of time to get all those in there. So, we obviously on one side, we go by, what's the mass being sold, but we're also looking at from the CI side, what are the products that we need to be able to add. So April Air is on the list, more Honeywell products are on the list. Obviously, like you said, Nest and Ecobee are already there, as well as a few Honeywell products, and the rest are all on the list. And again, the more we get feedback from you guys, the higher up we can stick it up on priority.
Okay, thank you. Well, definitely, April Air would be important to us, and I think important to the Pro channel. And then also, you said since Radio Rot 2, they have a Honeywell that's part of the ecosystem that works through the Lutron hub, so that'd be kind of cool to have as well. Okay, and then to the Sonos control. So you specifically mentioned the Connect, which is how a lot of our dealers like to use the Connect. And then they feed it into, like you said, they feed it into an AVR, or they feed it into a distributed audio system, or they feed it into like a multi-channel amplifier, something that actually has margin. So the question then, to be able to operate it, I'm assuming that the Sonos control also includes Sonos' volume control, but if the customer has either an AVR or like a multi-zone system with some sort of external preamp where you're setting the Sonos as fixed level out, can I do a volume punch through like we would on a TV with cable box?
Yeah, absolutely. So, and again, you answered most of it in the question there, but, a Connect, like I said, volume control, most aren't using on a Connect specifically, probably aren't using the volume control, they're using it as a line out that's going in the AVR, and the AVR is being used for volume control. So as you run through this setup on there, in specific to, let's say, a Sonos for Connect, it'll ask you what device do you want to use to control your volume. In that case, you wouldn't be using Sonos, you would say your AVR, and then it would basically punch it through for you automatically.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you, everyone, for your time today. And Brett, thank you for presentation. This was great.